Every year, wild Pacific salmon imprint on the Earth's magnetic field and navigate the epic journey home across thousands of kilometers of ocean to their natal streams. The magnetic field brings them within 50 to 100 kilometers of their home river system, where olfactory scent cues take over to help mature salmon find their way to the very rivers they were born in. The salmon in the lower Fraser continue up tributaries such as the Pitt River in order to find suitable streams to spawn in and fulfill their destinies. In many cases, these fish hit an impenetrable barrier in the form of floodgates or pump stations which block their migration path. The Watershed Watch Salmon Society has taken notice and is advocating on behalf of wild salmon to reconnect waterways, restore habitat, and in this way, help bring back wild salmon in the lower Fraser River watershed.
We are at the Catesy Slough, where the Catesy meets the Pitt River, and right here is the Kennedy Pump Station. And what we're doing is highlighting how this is endemic of what's happening across the lower Fraser, where there are between 400 and 500 gates and pumps that are disconnecting smaller waterways from the river.
Gates and pump stations are currently not fish friendly and deny wild salmon the access to their spawning and rearing grounds. These structures have been established to mitigate flooding for urban areas and the agricultural industry. Floodgates and pumps have been neglecting wild salmon needs for decades. David Scott, an SFU master's student and biologist for the Raincoast Conservation Foundation, has published a paper in the Canadian Journal of Fisheries and Aquatic Science. His research is backing the initiative to reconnect wild salmon with the valuable spawning and rearing habitat and restore integrity to these altered ecosystems in the lower Fraser River sloughs. David Scott will now break it down for us.
So when the freshet comes in, the river level stays high for months at a time, and at that time there is no fish passage. So this is when the pumps come into play, and any juvenile salmon which are hoping to migrate from their natal stream through the gates are now closed. Their only choice is to go through the pump, and pumps lead to significant mortality for outmigrating juvenile salmon. In the lower Fraser alone, a recent report contracted by the BC government found that there was going to be an expenditure of $9.5 billion just for the lower Fraser River for sea level rise upgrades. And this figure includes hundreds of millions of dollars for dikes, floodgates, and pump stations. So this means that there is going to be a significant investment in these flood control structures in the near future. So if managers do not actually balance fish considerations with flood-proofing needs, then what we'll see is that all of the expenditure on flood hazard mitigation will actually be at the expense of our fish population. Where there's really active streamkeeper groups that really talk to their council and talk to their city staffers, they can make a really big impact on how well the municipality actually operates the floodgates.
The Catesy Slough Restoration Project is run by active streamkeeper volunteers in Pitt Meadows. They encourage governments to retrofit pump stations with fish-friendly pumps that will return the health to many of the sloughs in the region that could support fish, wildlife, and recreational use for local communities who have not had access to areas such as the Catesy Slough for a very long time. Wild salmon are an icon of British Columbia's past and present and a sacred cornerstone in the culture of our First Nations. Livelihoods of communities across the province are still tied to the natural abundance of salmon runs, mirroring the vital role salmon play as a keystone species in their environment. With current threats and pressures increasing precarious fish populations on global and local levels, it's more important than ever to take all the possible steps as a society through public awareness and pressure on decision makers to help ensure sustainability of wild salmon into the future. Both juvenile and returning salmon need the streams and sloughs of the lower Fraser watershed for habitat. By improving our waterway infrastructure such as floodgates and pump stations with this priority in mind, we can provide salmon with the connected waters they require to flourish, and in turn nourish our society, economy, and ecosystem as a whole. For more information on how you can help with the Connected Waters initiative, check out www.watershedwatch.ca.